What's up, guys? Rational Gig Driver here, coming to you today with three rational tips to help improve your gig experience. And I'm going to come out here with three tips. This is to people driving now, people starting gig work. And these are three tips, worthwhile tips that I think that if you apply these to your gig work, whether you're working DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Instacart, if you apply these three tips, you will absolutely have a positive experience, or a more positive experience than what you're having. If you're not doing these things, consider doing them. I have well over 3.5 years of experience now in the gig world, and I think I can speak on these things. But anyways, I don't want to waste your time, because time is money. And we want to make sure we're getting the most value for our time. So first tip is this: get yourself quality bags. Seeing here, Grubhub, I'm going to tell you right now, whether you're a Grubhub driver or not, go to their store. They have some of the best bags in the business. I have 2 catering bags, pizza bag, and I have 2 of these coolers. And this has made a tremendous difference. It's also made a tremendous difference in my ratings. It's made a difference, in how the customer feels about the experience. And one thing you're going to learn is ratings do matter, in one regard, and only regard they matter, and is matching you up with customers that you want to see again. Because the algorithm, remember, what we're dealing with is an algorithm, and all that means is it's a special way of saying it's a computer program that matches up numbers and values, and that's all it's doing. So when you have a 5-star rating, you have a customer that pays you well, you want to see that customer again, keep getting 5-star ratings. Great way to get 5-star ratings is have great bags. So if you haven't invested in a great bag, DoorDash will give you a bag. It's a little flimsy bag. I have it. I always keep one in my back seat, because if I'm traveling or doing stuff, I'll remove my big equipment out. But whether you're part-time, full-time, whatever, you should have a bag. You should have a solid quality bag that's going to transport your food in a rational way and a good way, because you want to have a good presentation to the customer. You want to get their food to them hot, in good condition, limit your spills. What I love about this bag here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually got cup holders on the side, and this perfectly fits. As you can see, I kind of put a little base in there, but this perfectly fits with the cup holders of fast food restaurants. And then you can use you can take this bag and put it on one side. I have, like, as I mentioned, I have 2 catering bags, and you can um, put this on one side of the catering bag, so you can put your drinks on the one side, and on the other side, you can use the divider. The Grubhub catering bag comes with a nice divider, and you can put your bag of food on the other side. As I mentioned, I have 2. Sometimes if there's no drinks, I'll use the entire bag. Sometimes I'll just use this little bag here, and I'll slide it in my catering bag for transport. Gives a little extra easy. Make sure it doesn't slide around or spill. But whatever you do, whether you buy them from Grubhub or you go on Amazon, Amazon has them, or you go on DoorDash's store, get yourself a decent quality bag. Make sure you have bags for each event as well, especially if you're doing food delivery. That's a pizza bag, that's a catering bag, that's a regular. This kind of also is just a regular food transport bag. Just make sure, make sure that you're paying attention. Second tip of the day here, is make sure you are aware of what matters. Okay. And what do I mean by that? Meaning, make sure you're paying attention to things like your completion rate, because you don't want to allow that to drop too low, because that could get you deactivated. And on every single platform, they have a threshold for that. Make sure you're paying attention to customer ratings, that they're not getting too low, because every platform that does have a customer rating, Grubhub's the only one you don't see your customer rating for. If it drops too low, you're going to get deactivated. So you want to pay attention to those things. And on the topic of completion rating, look, the completion rate is something that is really an indicator of how good are you doing accepting good quality orders to begin with. Because if you're not accepting good quality orders to begin with, you're going to probably be canceling your orders out a lot. You should be accepting orders from restaurants that you've had good experiences with. You should be accepting orders from restaurants where wait time's not an issue. Obviously, if you have an experience or you have to cancel an order repeatedly or get out of an order, um, do so, but make sure you're aware of where your completion rate's at. Also understand your completion rate dictates, uh, at least on DoorDash, schedule access. If you drop below a certain threshold on I believe it's 95%. If you're below 95%, you lose your ability to schedule ahead of time. It loses access to certain programs. And if you're in the tier system, it makes a difference of whether or not you're getting access to certain programs as well. So you want to be aware, because completion rate, think of it like this: completion rate is where you've agreed, because you are a contract, you're a contractor, so you've agreed to the contract and now you've broke your contract. So it is something that does matter, because once you agree to work for the apps, you are on the hook for that agreement, and they're going to ask you to stand by it. And if you're not reliable, obviously they're not going to want to send you orders, and they're not going to want to have you responsible for orders, because it causes a problem for the whole system. So that's a fair number. Third and final thing is, understand this: acceptance rate does not matter. Okay. And many people, if you go on here, you go on YouTube, they're going to tell you lots of different things. Third tip: this is the most important. You should understand, acceptance rate doesn't matter. In other words, you will not get deactivated from acceptance rate. But I will tell you where it does matter. If you're not accepting orders, you're not making money. So it matters from that perspective. So you've got to figure out what is going to work for your market. Doesn't mean you have to accept every single order, nor should you accept every single order, but you also shouldn't be declining every single order either. You've got to take the time to figure out what works, what makes sense. So when we say acceptance rate doesn't matter, we mean it doesn't matter from the standpoint of you will not get deactivated from the platform. But at the same point too, it does matter, because you're never making money until you hit accept. So it's never explained really properly on here when I watch videos and people try to say this, and the apps try to get it across in a way that says, hey, listen, accept more, earn more. Yes, of course, because once you accept an order, you're making money. So you're earning more than zero. So accept more, earn more on its face doesn't make sense. I mean, that doesn't mean you're earning more money in terms of you're earning more money than drivers who don't pay attention to what they're accepting. And that's the thing you need to be doing. Pay attention to what you're accepting. Make sure you're figuring out. Make sure you're doing something to track the progress of your market. Make sure you're doing something to understand what makes sense in my market. What should I expect from my market? What do I need? And here's the deal. Here's the secret to this. I'm not going to be able to tell you that, because I don't drive your car. I don't work in your market. I don't know your restaurants. I don't know any of the variables. That's up to you. So when you see somebody on here telling you, do this, do that, do Top Dasher, pay attention to this program, do this program, it's all about their experience. You've got to create your own experience. You've got to create your own data. You've got to, and that is the biggest challenge, I think, for many drivers is figuring out what they should be doing, because of the fact that it's individualized for every single individual. So you've got to go out and put that work in. That's where the work's at. That's where people say, well, you're over. Isn't that a little overcomplicated to ask people to collect data? Absolutely not, because you can't make a decision without data. And everything about the algorithm and everything about the app is data driven. So if you want to make the best decision, if you want to get the most out of the apps, you've got to go forward with making sure that you understand your own data from your own market, so you can make the best decision for yourself. Because for me, I might tell you that $10 or less is not worth it for me. For you and your market, it might be. For you and your car, it might be. For you, if you're driving a car that costs a lot more to drive per mile on an order, you may say, you know what, I'm willing to do a 6 for 1 mile, because to me, if I'm not making $6 a mile, I'm not driving. So I'm going to be looking for those smaller orders that have a higher dollar per mile value, because I need it, because my car costs more to operate and I have to make sure that I'm covering that expense. But every single individual it's an individualized process. So the tip here is, obviously, don't worry about acceptance rate from the standpoint of, do not go blindly into this and say, I'm going to accept every order, or I'm going to decline every order below this or whatever. Take the time to understand your market. So when you're accepting orders, you understand what it is you need to accept, what it is that's going to make you money, and take the time to do that. Take the time to figure it out so that you can make a better quality decision when you're accepting orders. Couple of tips to be able to do that: have a helper app, something like Driver Utility Helper, uh, Maximo. You've got income tracking apps like Solo that can help streamline and let you know exactly what you're making. It tracks your hours, it tracks your miles. You've got Hurdler, we've got Stride. Download an app that's going to help track some of your expenses, some of your metrics. On top of that, as you know, I haven't included them in my 2024 video. I didn't include them in my last video, but if you go back to some of my videos, I have spreadsheets that you can use for free. Download those sheets, and they are tailored to every aspect of the gig experience. Feel free to jump into those. Use that to track your information and learn your market, but do something to learn your market. Figure it out yourself. Strategize what's comfortable for you, what works for you, what's going to work within your model. But you've got to learn your market, and you've got to learn how to make the best decisions for yourself. Do not let the apps do it for you. Do not let another YouTube creator do it for you. Do it for yourself. And remember, data and numbers is what's driving the algorithm that's making the offer to you. So you should be using data and numbers to make the decision when you decide whether you should be accepting that offer. So these are 3 tips, guys, that if you apply these 3 tips to 2024 and beyond, to gig work and beyond, whatever app you're working, Instacart, DoorDash, Spark, whatever it is, you will make more money. You will end up in a better position. If you have any questions, concerns, whatever, reach out to me, Dad-Dash, the Rational Gig Driver at dad-13@gmail.com. Guys, I look forward to interacting with you. I look forward to a big 2024 ahead, where we talk gig work, all things gig work, all things getting better, all things educating ourselves and having a better experience out here for ourselves. Anyways, guys, till we speak again, have yourself a rational day, and I'll talk to you soon.